Shama Barei Yehuda Uvechutzot Yerushalayim Od Yishama Zot Uvechutzot Yerushalayim Kol Sason veKol Simcha Kol Chatan veKol Kala Kol Sason veKol Simcha Kol Chatan veKol Kala Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai dai yadai dai 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 Hai dai dai yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 dai
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome. As we begin, I want to invite us all to arrive in this space. If it's comfortable as you're making your way to your seats, plant your feet solidly on the floor. Maybe let your shoulders soften. Let's all take a deep breath in. Hold for a couple seconds and a gentle exhale out through our mouths. Let's take another inhale, noticing what the week has placed before us, and exhale, releasing what we don't need to carry with us this Shabbat. In this Shabbat, we stand at a powerful intersection. It's Shabbat Tzedek, in the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King understood, as our tradition teaches us, that justice requires courage, yes, but also reflection and grounding and moral clarity. So tonight we pause not only to turn away from the struggles of our world, but to root ourselves deeply enough to face them with wisdom and with compassion. So may this Shabbat restore our spirits and sharpen our listening, and may it renew our commitment to walking towards a promised land, a place where dignity, equity, and peace are shared by all. So let's enter this Shabbat together. Shabbat Shalom. How good it is that we're all here together this evening. Let's join together in the words of Hine Matov, which can be found on page 128 or page 10.
Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, Hine Matov, Yadai, Hine Matov, Hine Matov, Yadai,
And we continue to welcome in Shabbat with lighting our Shabbat candles. You may have noticed they've moved a little bit down here to the front. That's because we have our Torah table out here. We're going to be doing a Torah reading this evening. So we have our table down here. I'm going to invite up Chris Ledoux, who will be helping us to come and light our Shabbat candles. And our blessing can be found here on the screen or on page 120 or page 2. Now you may need to push the button up. Good. Oh, did you push the bottom button up? Yeah. And we'll invite Shabbat in, waving that energy, that peace of Shabbat into our space, and we'll join together in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you so much, Chris. We continue with the words of Lecha Dodi. This is a song of movement. We rise, we turn, we welcome. The mystics imagine Shabbat as a presence who meets us halfway, not waiting for perfection, but just waiting for openness. Come, my beloved, we sing not only to Shabbat, but also to the best versions of ourselves. And on the Shabbat Tzedek, Lecha Dodi reminds us that transformation begins with orientation. Before we change the world, we must turn towards holiness. Before we demand justice, we must learn to recognize dignity. And as we sing, notice where you are being asked to turn, perhaps away from despair, away from numbness, and toward possibility. We'll join together in the words of Lecha Dodi. We'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. On the 9th verse, I will invite us to rise and face the door as we welcome Shabbat in. We'll be on page 138 or page 20 for Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. 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 Shamor v'zochor b'dibur echad, hishmiyanu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem netiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela.
Verse 2.
Likrat Shabbat lechu b'nelcha, ki himkor habracha, mirosh mikerem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tefila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela.
Verse 5, Hitorari.
Hitorari, ki ma'orech mi'uri, uri shu'naveri, kavod Adonai alayk nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela.
Let's please rise. We'll face the door as we bring Shabbat into our sanctuary.
Ohi v'shalom ha'elet bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzolcha, toch emunei am segula, bo'i chala bo'i
Don't sit down just yet. Let's turn to our folks who are joining us on the live stream, the cameras at the back. Let's wave to them and wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Turn to your neighbor, someone across the aisle, maybe someone you haven't met yet. Say Shabbat Shalom to them. Let's show everyone some love tonight. All right, Baruch Hu. And I'll invite us to make our way back to our seats. Don't sit down just yet. We're going to move into the words of Baruch Hu on page 146 or page 28.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada lai lai lai, 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 yada lai lai lai. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da.
Baruch Hu
et Adonai
You may be seated. This Shabbat Tzedek, we ask, this is an hour of change, and with it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is an hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. In a moment, we'll join together in the words of Shema, our central declaration of unity. Shema begins with listening. Shema Yisrael, listen, Israel. And justice. Justice begins not with speaking, but with hearing. Hearing the cry of the vulnerable. Hearing the stories we would rather avoid. Hearing the still small voice that asks something more of us. Dr. King taught that we are each caught in an inescapable network of mutuality. Tied in a single garment of destiny, each of us a single thread in a larger tapestry. To listen, then, is to notice how our lives are woven together and how the pain or the hope of one strand is felt by all. When we cover our eyes for Shema, we're not shutting out the world. Rather, we're sharpening our attention. So tonight, let us be aware of the place where we are woven in, where we belong, and where we are needed. It is our custom here. We have been doing a minhag of singing the first line of Shema 4 times, getting softer with each repetition. And when we make it to that 5th repetition of Shema, we declare the words, our words of unity, of oneness, out loud together. So we'll join together with the words of Shema on page 152 or page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. If you are standing, I'll invite you to please be seated. We'll turn the page and move into our love song to the divine with the words of Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher Anohi mitzaveha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha vedibarta bam beshivtecha bevetecha uvlechtecha vandere uvshokbeha uvkumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinenecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kedoshim le'elohehem, Ani Adonai Elohehem Asher Hotzeiti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem Le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohehem Adonai Elohehem Emet. Mi Chamocha is not only a song of ancient triumph, but it's a song sung on the far side of fear. The Israelites had crossed the sea, but the wilderness still lay ahead of them. Freedom has begun, but it is not yet complete. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke in this same biblical language when he said, "I have been to the mountaintop. I have seen the promised land." Like Moses, King understood something essential. The promised land is not merely a destination, it is a vision, a moral horizon that pulls us forward even when the journey is not yet finished. As we sing the words of Mi Chamocha, we do so as a people still walking, celebrating steps forward, naming the seas that we have crossed, and also committing ourselves to keep moving towards justice together. We'll join together with the words of Mi Chamocha on page 158 or page 40.
Torah
We'll keep that music going with Veshamru, Veshamru, V'nei Yisrael et Shabbat. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat. These words remind us that Shabbat is something we return to again and again, a pause that we choose. It's a rhythm that carries us Lador Vador from generation to generation. So as we sing, let's make space for movement and allow Shabbat to meet us where we are. Veshamru can be found on page 162 or page 44.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'ritotam. Emanu-El shalei Yisrael, b'nei Yisrael, odi le'olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam. U'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinapash, Shabbat vayinapash, Shabbat vayinapash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam.
I will invite us all now to please rise physically or spiritually for the Amidah on page 164 or page 46. And as we rise for the Amidah, let's ground ourselves in our bodies. Let's plant our feet firmly onto the earth and noticing that quiet strength that holds us upright. Let's all take a deep breath in, hold for a couple of seconds, and as we exhale, imagining all that tension going down through our legs out into the earth. The Amidah reminds us that prayer is not an escape, it's an alignment. We stand between heaven and earth, between the world as it is and the world as it could be. So may this prayer steady us. May it soften what is hardened. May it strengthen us for work of justice that continues beyond these walls. We'll join together in the words of Adonai Svatai Tiftach. Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Agita Hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. I'll invite you to use this time to daven silently, using the words here from our tradition or the words that are in your heart. When you are finished with your prayer, you may be seated.
and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O Lord, my rock and my Redeemer.
As I mentioned, there's going to be a reading of Torah this evening. On Friday nights, we often really don't get to hear Torah that much other than the Devar that I offer, and unless you come to a Bar Mitzvah celebration, you may not ever get to hear Torah from this bima. So we're going to be introducing a Friday night reading to services. There's a little bit of instruction. I know we all love instructions. So we're going to turn to page 364. I'm going to invite us all to rise as I begin to open the ark. We're going to join together at the top with the words Ki Mitzion Teitzei Torah. After we finish there, we'll turn the page to Baruch Shenatan and continue with our Seder Kriyat HaTorah. It is my pleasure to invite up Mark Mauenbaum, who will be taking our Torah on its Hakafa journey. He'll be taking it down the middle on this side. He'll make a U-turn and come back up the middle, where he'll bring our Torah up to the bima. All right, let's join together on page 364. As I open. Yes. And we'll join together at the top of page 364 with the words Ki Mitzion. Ki Mitzion Teitzei Torah. Ki Mitzion Teitzei Torah. Udavar Adonai miYerushalayim. We'll turn to page 366 at the top. Baruch Shenatan Torah HaTorah. Baruch Shenatan Torah HaTorah. Le'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadlu Adonai Iti Unromema Shemo Yaktav Romemu Adonai Eloheinu
V'tishkach baru lecha kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'tishkach baru lecha kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'tishtachavu lecha kodesho.
want to hold this handle? Yes. You all may be seated. Our Torah is at rest. So we are in Parashat Vayera. We'll be reading from Shemot, Exodus 6, verse 6 through 9. It is my pleasure to invite up Sam Goldstein, Sam Ben Stephen, for our Aliyah. We are going to start right here. There's the card is right under there. Oh, you got it? Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Lachein emor lebnei Yisrael, Ani Adonai v'chotzeti etchem mitachat sivlot Mitzrayim v'hitzalti etchem me'avodatam v'ga'alti etchem be'zru'a netuya u'mishpatim gedolim v'lakachti lach etchem li la'am v'hayiti lachem le'elohim v'yadatem ki ani Adonai Elohechem v'chotzeti etchem mitachat sivlot Mitzrayim v'heviti etchem al haaretz asher nasati et yadi latet ota le'Avraham le'Yitzchak u'Yaakov v'natati ota lachem merosha ani Adonai. Vayedaber Moshe ken al bnei Yisrael ve'lo sham'u al Moshe mikotzer ruach me'avoda kasha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yashar Koach, thank you all so much. No, you're good. Thank you so much. Yes. The burning bush was not consumed, and neither is the moral call placed upon us. It continues to burn in every generation, asking not whether we are ready, but whether we are willing. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Our Torah tells us that when Moses first encountered God, it wasn't in some palace or even in some miracle of triumph or victory, but it was in a bush that was burning, and yet it wasn't destroyed. It was a contradiction, a disruption, a holy discomfort. Moses turns aside to look, vayar, and that turning is everything. Because before Moses frees anyone and before he speaks to Pharaoh, before he becomes a leader, he pauses long enough to notice something is wrong in the world, and also sacred enough to demand his attention. Then comes the call. Go, God says. Who am I? Moses responds. Not I'm ready, not I accept, but who am I to do this? That question, who am I, echoes across Parashat Shemot and into Parashat Vayera, and still it echoes here in our own time. By the time we reach Parashat Vayera, Moses has already said yes. He had already returned to Egypt, he had already spoken in God's name, and yet the people are exhausted. Pharaoh is cruel, the system is brutal, and Moses says something devastatingly honest. If the Israelites will not listen to me, how will Pharaoh listen to me? In other words, this is hard. This isn't working. I don't feel effective. I don't feel powerful. I don't feel like a leader. And God doesn't scold Moses for that. God does not replace him. God doesn't even say to him, try harder. God simply says, I am with you. This is our Torah's radical teaching about leadership. Leadership does not begin with confidence, it begins with willingness. And it's sustained not by certainty, but by presence. That's why this Shabbat, Shabbat Tzedek, is inseparable from this weekend when we honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King understood something deeply Jewish, even if he didn't use our language for it. He understood that moral leadership is not about waiting until conditions are perfect. It's about acting when they're painfully imperfect. From a jail cell in Birmingham, he wrote words that still challenge us. Human progress never rolls in on wheels of inevitability. It comes through the tireless efforts of people willing to be co-creators with God. Co-creators with God. This is exactly what Moses becomes. Not some superhero, not a flawless prophet, but a human being willing to stand in the fire of moral responsibility and to not look away. And that fire is still burning. We feel it in this moment of political uncertainty and unrest in our country, a time when we feel disorientated, anxious, divided, unsure of what's coming next, a time when trust in our institutions feels fragile, and when public discourse is harsh, and when fear too often masquerades as strength. Our Torah tells us not to pretend this is not happening, and Moses doesn't say everything will be fine. He names the suffering. He confronts the power. He insists that dignity is not negotiable. Dr. King did the very same, and in his final speech, the night before he was assassinated, he said, I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to that promised land. These words were spoken with clarity and gravity, and they're sobering. They acknowledge that leadership often means planting seeds that you will not see grow, that justice is not a sprint, and that liberation is sometimes a long walk through the desert. And this week, that feels especially close. Just days ago, a synagogue in Mississippi, Beth Israel in Jackson, was attacked. A Jewish house of worship violated, targeted once again, and the painful irony is impossible to ignore. This very synagogue had been attacked by the Ku Klux Klan in the 60s because its rabbi stood publicly in support of the civil rights movement. Different decade, different moment, same hatred, same fire, and yet still not consumed. That synagogue still stands, that community still prays, and that moral call still burns. This is the lesson of the burning bush. Evil does not get the final word, and fear cannot extinguish holiness. And the response to injustice should not be silence, but resolve. Shabbat Tzedek is not about slogans, it's about soul work. Because it asks us not simply what we believe, but what we are willing to do with those beliefs. Moses did not want to go back to Egypt, and Dr. King knew exactly what the cost would be. Neither of them waited until they felt safe, and neither of them acted alone. They acted because they believed deeply that God does not stand outside of history, but calls human beings into partnership, into responsibility, into courage. The burning bush was not consumed, and neither is the moral call placed upon us. It burns when we choose empathy over apathy. It burns when we choose to refuse to normalize cruelty. It burns when we protect one another, especially when we're afraid. It burns when we say, I don't know if I'm ready, but I am willing. That's the question Shabbat places before us. Not, do you have all the answers? Not, are you fearless? But, will you turn aside and see? Will you notice the fire? Will you listen to the call? Can you take that one step forward, even with a trembling voice? May we, like Moses, trust that presence matters more than perfection. May we, like Dr. King, commit ourselves to that long arc of justice even when it bends slowly. And may we, as a community, be strong enough to stand in the fire together, unconsumed. Shabbat Shalom. At this point in our service, we call to mind all of those who are in need of healing. Our community is praying for a number of individuals at this time. Barbara Bergman, Susan Brovler, Leslie Brown, Carolyn Borrell, Don Cable, Christina DeSuvic, Maggie Ingebrigtsen, Barbara Esmond, Bill Fisherman, Sue Gupta, Nancy Halevi, Jean Hinken-Jones, Joel Esmond, Linda Rose Herman, Marcus Hyman, Judith Hyman, Mark Justin, Marcia Katz, Aidan Kozlovich, Lee Kurth, Mel Lane, Stuart Libby, Nancy Lipset, Rebecca Magana, Gordon Matsuoka, Claudia Mendoza, Arjuan Meredith, Mitzi Mild, Nina Morgan, Mort Nemiroff, Stuart Novick, Paula Perry, Martha Randolph, Jennifer Reed, Bonnie Richmond, Wendy Robbins, Patricia Sarles, Stan Satz, Arlene Siegel, Jeffrey Snyder, Mike Trask, Keith Turo, Butch Ugrin, Gerald Dumeta, Harriet Weissman, Robert Wolf, Cheryl Wolf, Ruth Yathabetz, and Kathy Zane. If there is someone or someones from whom you are praying for this evening, I will invite you to please share their names with us now. Yes.
Beth Meyer.
Onto that list, my aunt, Sandy Sherrill. We'll join together in the words of Misha Barak, which can be found on page 371 or page 253.
Of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Those in need of healing with refuah Shema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Sending a refuah shlema, a complete and whole healing to all of those names named here, all of those names we hold in our hearts. Amen. I will invite us all to please rise physically or spiritually as we return our Torah to our ark. It is my pleasure to invite up Amelia, who will help come spot me for Hagbah and help me dress our Torah as we return it to the ark. Come around here. Can you help me on this side? Just if you want to grab up here, just when I help me lift it. All right, we'll join together. Vezot
Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael pi Adonai b'yad Moshe.
Torah,
Torah, Torah, Torah, Torah, Torah, Torah.
We wrap it with the belt first. The black belt.
Torah, 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 Torah. Sihalanu Moshe. Torah, Torah,
This belt goes tight.
Torah, Torah,
Right? And then the cover.
Torah. Sihalanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Torah. Sihalanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Torah,
Got it.
Torah.
And we stick it there.
Sihalanu Moshe.
And then the
Torah, 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 Torah,
stick it on the front.
Torah, Torah. Sihalanu Moshe. Torah, Torah.
Thank you so much.
Torah, Torah.
And then if you want to open that curtain.
Sihalanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Sihalanu Moshe.
We'll join together with the words It's Chaim He on page 374.
It's Chaim He, Lama Chazikim Bo, Besomecheho, Beushor, Terochecho, Darchenam, Bechol Nesiboseho, Shalom, Ashivenu Adonai, Elecho v'noshuvo, Chodesh, Chodesh Yomeinu, Chodesh Yomeinu kekedem.
Thank you so much. You may be seated. Unless your name is Joshuish. It's my pleasure to invite up Joshuish, our president, with some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbos.
I say now is the moment where I get to see if I need my reading glasses, and the answer is, I need my reading glasses. I'm trying something new. These are a little bit weird, but bear with me. So starting with following up from something Rabbi had mentioned, which is the recent tragic events in Mississippi. As Rabbi noted, this past week, Congregation Beth Israel in Jackson was destroyed in an act of violence. Even the Torah scrolls were lost. And as part of a Jewish community, we know that we are responsible for one another. And of course, as said throughout the Torah, just prayer is not enough. We actually have to engage in good deeds as well. And so one of the things we have been asking, and it's been in some of the e-blasts, is asking our temple community to give whatever you can to help the synagogue and the community in Mississippi rebuild and heal. I can share I made a modest contribution myself this afternoon. It took less than 60 seconds to do it online, so if you can give anything, donations can be made directly through their website, bethisraelms.org. That's bethisraelms.org. Here, back in our own congregation, Torah study with Rabbi CJ and OJO tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. in person and on Zoom. Rabbi, correct me if I'm wrong, I think tomorrow we do have a guest facilitator in Veronica Abney. And so please, if you haven't gotten a chance to register yet, you'll get the Zoom link for that. Please do if you can. Speaking of registrations, for anyone who has already registered, more things coming up on Sunday the 18th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for anyone who has already registered. There is adult learning on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the prophets. And a few other things looking ahead for the temple, a few quick items. First, the office is closed on Monday, January 19th, of course, in honor of the MLK holiday. The Board of Trustees meeting, we're trying something, I was going to say trying something new, but it's kind of like Back to the Future or Back to the Past, one of the two, something like that. We're doing it in person. So we've started trying to do at least quarterly board meetings in person. I see at least one person there. Samantha's very excited. I see a smile. Yay. So that is going to be here at the temple, January 20th at 6 p.m. So if anyone does want to join us for the Board of Trustees meeting, it'll be actually in person. It won't be on Zoom. And then going back to Zoom, note that the Jewish Grandparents Learning Fest Watch Party, Tuesday, January 27th, beginning at 9:30 a.m. And I think this actually is in person only. Please bring devices and headphones. Please note that you have to RSVP. You do need to be registered for this. And then just two last things. I swear I'm almost done. And then you're closer to the rest of the weekend in Shabbat. Purim Carnival on March 1st. This year's Purim Carnival, not just for kids. We are expanding this. We're going to have a craft fair, cookie and costume contest, jewelry making, entertainment, food trucks, and more. And of course, none of this happens without some assistance. So that part before where I said it's not just about prayer, but we have to help each other out. Yeah, you hear me? Can I get an amen in the synagogue? So thank you. So we're looking for help, including food and craft vendors, especially Hamantaschen sellers, silent auction, donations, and volunteers, anybody with a hidden talent to help run activity stations. Balloon twisters were given to me as a particular example. If you're interested, please fill out the interest form, and our team will follow up directly. For everybody who is in person here tonight, we actually have that interest form in the back of the sanctuary. Haley, I'm not a liar, right? We actually got that. Turn around, we see Haley showing you that right there. We have the interest form. You've all been told. And we'll probably tell you 4, 5, or 6 more times between now and March 1st that we need your help. And then finally, as always, we do continue to collect donations for the Hawaii Food Bank. As always, they do accept donations of canned and non-perishable food, but also, as always, if you are able to give cash to that because of what they can do with economies of scale, if you can give cash, it can go much farther than if you just buy it yourself. With that, I will now go ahead and exit stage to my right. Thank you all very much. Shabbat Shalom.
And with that, I'll invite us to please rise physically or spiritually as we move into the words of Aleinu as we wind down our service. We'll be on page 586 or page 282 at the bottom. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol latet gedula leyotzer breshit shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot Velo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama Shelo sam chelkeinu kachem Vegoralenu kecho hamonam Va'anachnu korim Umishtachavim umodim Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'ne'emar V'haya Adonai Lemelech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu Yihyeh Adonai echad seated. Our thoughts now turn to those who have passed recently or in seasons past. This community is remembering a number of yahrzeits at this time. Alan Bogdanoff, Alan Bloom, Alfred Ullman, Andrea Fine, Ann Ostfeld, Ari Katz, Bernard Hertig, Bernard Passoff, Bertha Cohen, Bill Gus, Haya Katz, Donald Fleischer, Dora L. Kleinman, Dorothy Tilker, Eddie Sherman, Edith Edwards, Goldie Arkin, Harry H. Pitlock, Inga Mallenbaum, Jack Fleischer, Jamie Addick, Joseph A. Milbor, Kate Bilkis, Lee Steinberg, Leonard Feldman, Lynn Geller Levinson, Malka Zuckerkorn, Melissa Nordick, Meyer Spector, Miriam Fega Lembersky, Moish Moskowitz, Nettie B. Chaplin, Norman Grotstein, Oscar Siegel, Rabbi Julius J. Nodell, Ray Rosenberg, Samuel Steinberg, Samuel Trapido, Sarah Feltzer, Simon King, Sylvia Kirzenblatt, and Sylvia Silverstein. If you are remembering a loved one at this time in a period of mourning, or if I happen to mispronounce the name of your loved one, I will invite you to please share their names with us now. If it is your custom to rise for Mourner's Kaddish, I will invite you to do so. Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 598 or page 294. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei, be'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyom echon, u'v'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal Shmei v'kudashah brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Vimru, amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Vimru, amen. Zikronam nevracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Amen. I will invite us to start making our way out into the aisle, or maybe we can make a circle if we've got enough people. Just be careful of the candles up at the front. We don't want to knock those over. Let's join together. People want to put their arms around one another. If your neighbor is comfortable, we'll join together in the words of Oseh Shalom and send you out with the peace of Shabbat.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'el kol Yisrael, ve'el kol yoshvei tevel, bimru. Amen.
know you are all ready for that oneg. We're going to give a big thank you to all of our staff for helping set everything up. We also, yes, let's give them Sukapayim. I also want to give a big thank you to Helen Hertig, who sponsored our oneg this evening in memory of Bernard's yahrzeit. So we say thank you to her. Let's join together in Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila le'mikra'e kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. And we'll join together in Hamotzi. What do we have tonight? Did you forget?
No, I'm trying to get it the right, it's not the right.
Oh, the right way.
Okay. Well, there's two hearts that are involved with this weekend. We have Pharaoh Hardnia's heart, so I made a little sort of king. But I didn't really like all the stuff it said, so forget that one. But anyway, in honor of Martin Luther King and his dream that someday, pretty soon, people's hearts will follow the new behavior they're supposed to have, and they will live together in harmony and peace throughout this world.
Amen.
So it's a heart made of two hands holding each other, sort of a dark one and a light one. Anyway.
Let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Please join us in the back for oneg. Join us for Torah study tomorrow. Thank you again so much for coming, everyone.
Oh, say shalom.